You know, no one would blame you for not vibing with Ubisoft titles. We sure are a far cry, from where things were in the glory days of Ubisoft. Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry 3. Ubisoft in a lot of ways feels like the junk food of video games. Delicious, but not necessarily a lot of substance. That said, I was curious about Avatar and had exceedingly low expectations, and thanks to Ubisoft for providing me a key, I was able to see where we were going to go when it came to the music of Avatar. Something I am super excited about anytime I start a new game, really. Honestly, I haven't paid much attention to the musical experience of a lot of Ubisoft games, and aside from Ezio's family, I really don't remember any of the lasting melodies or themes from any previous titles. Do you? Avatar, however, I just figured the music has to be worthy of the license. After all, the first Avatar movie still holds the #1 spot as the highest grossing movie ever, with $2,923 billion earned. The music surely isn't going to be bad, is it? And no, it isn't. We're reclaiming our identities and we're stepping into Pandora, nature, less mechanical sounding, much more ethereal, much more beautiful. Yeah. Listen to that bounding piano there. Oh wow, this is good. The chant of the wild is calling to us. I'll shut up now. Ah, my God. What the fuck? Oh my God. Wow. In fact, it's very clear there is a lot of love poured into this score. From the sweeping melodic strings as we learn how to navigate becoming a Na'vi, to the tension like that of a ticking clock while being hunted by the RDA. To the horns marking the intentions of one of the characters we meet at the beginning.
You all know the rules. No physical contact. No dinner for any of you.
Director Mercer, sir!
There is an intentioned orchestration and thought put into every phrase and structure of this score. Not only that, but there is a beautiful through line here between sweeping melodic moments and pure ambient aesthetic. In the way that only video game scores can manage. Melody speaks to the soul, makes the player feel like something is happening to them and for them. But ambient sound is the crux of the player feeling a part of something bigger. Ambient music shapes the listener's ears to how they belong and how they fit into the world. The nice thing actually about Avatar is that the ambient music is actually inobtrusive. In fact, there are a lot of times when you're exploring where there isn't music at all, which honestly, I think is kind of a good thing. Music is an important vehicle for, at least in the case of ambient music, world building and connecting to the world, but so is sound design. There were several instances while I was playing where I was just following the sound of an animal's cry in the distance, or hearing a twig snap behind me, wondering what it was. The simple act of hearing humming while cooking some meat. Not everything requires music all of the time. Which maybe sounds odd for a video about music impressions, but the key takeaway here is that music is best used in service of very specific things, and sometimes if there is an overabundance of it, the experience can actually become muddled, or lose some of that luster and momentum that the music is trying to convey. After all, there's a reason you hear people all the time that say they turn off the music in games when there's an overprevalence of it, and in the case of Avatar, it's balanced beautifully and the music never overstays its welcome. A prime example of this is there's a part at night when you're climbing up to meet your friend in this place called Tapestry Hills. The sights are beautiful, bright neon pink mixed with blue and green, a glow-in-the-dark color aesthetic, and all you have is this twinkling sound. Almost like meditation music you'd hear on a meditation app or something. It's so bright and high-pitched, it feels delicate, mysterious, and in a way magical. That's one way ambient music in this game experience especially elevates the majesty of exploration, especially since exploration is such a key component of this game. The tribalism in the music is really neat too, especially in moments of tension, building up to conflict, running towards conflict, or actively engaging with enemies. There's heavy use of this dope percussion that is super satisfying, and I mean, it's empowering. And maybe empowering isn't actually the right word, but I did feel like a total badass while fighting. It's so earthy in the way that really only percussion can be. It's pronounced and strong and has this quality of highlighting both parties in the conflict. You being the young Na'vi finding their identity and learning how to protect themselves and their tribe, and the RDA, who has giant mechs and assault rifles and helicopters, and a lot of ways to easily kill you. It really is fun how the music so quickly transitions from this sneaky ticking clock quality when you're not engaging to thrusting into this high-octane exotic power fantasy soundscape when in combat. It's also really fun to see how the Na'vi are highlighted musically, with ethnic flutes and different flavors of jungle soundscape to them. The RDA usually actually is the opposite, having these heavy brass, very Star Wars Evil Empire kind of way. I think it's really good at musically highlighting different players of the story experience. It allows listeners to associate instruments with specific factions and emotion, which is really smart, and it allows for a deeper understanding of what's happening in the scenes thanks to that music and thanks to those specific instruments being connected to specific enemy types or groups of people. The choral writing is also super fantastic. There's no vibrato, strong unison phrasing and structure. It provides a sense of mystery and exoticism. It doesn't feel of this world, which is obviously the point, and it lets the player more feel like they're really running through the forests of Pandora. The choral writing is super female heavy, as well as with solos mixed in, which provide the listener with a sense of mystery, and like I said earlier, this magical quality, which is really otherworldly, and it makes the place, worth exploring. The solos are also really beautiful. There's not a lot of lyrics per se, and I think it ties into this ambient thing where there is a melody, but the beauty of it is that it really feels like it pierces your spirit. I don't know, it's super cool. And usually when there's pieces that aren't using words, they do a better job of, I think, allowing the music to sort of sing to you rather than the lyrics being there, because the lyrics are sort of indicating what the song is about. The first 15 minutes of the game, actually, the prologue as it were, is near completely featuring in music, which I loved. And it made me think of this idea that video games are modern operas in the sense that music aids us in understanding the themes the opening is trying to convey for us. Music is a fundamental part of this opening section in the prologue, and it's really fun to experience everything that's happening, from the child curiosity of the Na'vi youth to Mercer coming in with the horns. There's a real sense of placement with that music. There's also this really nice moment that I don't want to spoil where singing actually becomes the center point of the action. Singing in the face of adversity, and singing inspiring and showcasing how radical an act it is to stand and sing when you're being told to do something or be a certain way. To use our breath to guide our songs. It's really effective and powerful. All told, this game has a decent review rating right now of 72, which is mixed on Metacritic. And with the sea of games releasing in 2023 and the backlog that I'm sure everybody has gotten from this year, Avatar may very well fall by the wayside, nor will we maybe remember the music of it in a year or two. But if you're curious if the music is any good and adds to the experience, the answer in my eyes is a yes. It's good. It really adds to a lot of the moments that it appears in the world. It gives space for natural audio design that Massive lent into, while also allowing for beautiful feelings of exploration and discovery. You feel the music when it shows up. And frankly, that might be reason enough to experience the world of Pandora. And if music isn't the reason you pick up a game like this, at least you know the music will enhance the experience. I think it's a musical soundscape that's worth at least listening to on a soundtrack if you don't want to play the game. But if you're playing it, then I think you'll be pretty pleased. I know I have been. If you like this, feel free to check out more videos on the channel. And as always, thanks a ton, and I'll see you later. Bye.